Welcome to Audio Story Quest, the perfect destination for heartwarming tales of romance and adventure. Join us as we explore the depths of emotions in our short stories. Subscribe now for a daily dose of love, adventure and storytelling magic.
Winter Fantasy Romance. Quest for the Enchanted Fairy. In a distant land, nestled between towering mountains, lay the wintry enchanted forest of Learnenglishthroughstory. This mystical woodland was a place of eternal winter, where snow-covered trees glistened like silver under the pale moonlight. The air was crisp and filled with the sweet scent of pine, while the ground sparkled with a layer of pristine snow. Amidst the frozen beauty of Learnenglishthroughstory, there lived a young man named Elric. He was a humble woodsman with a heart as warm as the hearth in his cozy cottage. Elric possessed striking physical features that made him a handsome figure in the wintry landscape of Learnenglishthroughstory. His tall and sturdy frame stood out against the snowy backdrop, exuding an air of quiet strength. His raven black hair, tousled by the cold winds of the forest, framed a chiseled jawline and high cheekbones. His eyes were the color of deep emerald, reflecting the evergreen pines that surrounded him, and they held a warmth that could melt even the coldest of winters. Elric's strong and capable hands bore the marks of a life spent in the forest, calloused from wielding an axe and skilled at crafting intricate wooden carvings in his spare moments. His lips, often curved in a gentle smile, added to his charismatic charm. Dressed in rugged yet practical clothing, he moved with a grace that belied his rugged exterior, making him a captivating presence in the enchanted wintry forest. Elric had heard whispers of a legendary fairy named Seraphina, who was said to reside deep within the heart of the forest. A fairy whose enchanting grace and ethereal presence were known to all who ventured into the wintry woods. Stories of this beauty had been passed down through generations in Learnenglishthroughstory. These tales spoke of her captivating presence, her grace, and her otherworldly charm. They promised a kind of magic that could thaw even the coldest heart. Elric yearned for such enchantment in his life. Elric's longing to see Seraphina ran deep and was fueled by more than just curiosity. It was a yearning born from the monotony of his solitary life in Learnenglishthroughstory and a desire for something extraordinary amidst the endless winter. The wintry forest, while enchanting, often felt lonely for Elric. His days were spent chopping wood, foraging for food, and tending to his humble cottage. While he appreciated the tranquility of the forest, a sense of emptiness gnawed. He longed for a connection, a glimpse of the magic that he believed existed beyond the evergreen trees. One fateful evening, as the northern lights danced in the sky, Elric ventured further into the forest than he ever had before. The moon's silvery glow illuminated his path, and the snow beneath his boots crunched softly. He walked with a heart filled with wonder and curiosity, for he longed to see the legendary beauty that the tales spoke of. However, as he ventured deeper into the dense woods, the landscape grew increasingly treacherous. Snowflakes danced in the frigid air, obscuring his path, and a fierce blizzard descended upon him, making it impossible to distinguish the way forward. Lost and disoriented, he struggled to find his bearings amidst the towering trees that seemed to shift and twist in the blizzard's icy embrace. Elric's hope of finding his way back to safety dwindled. Desperation and fatigue threatened to overcome him. It was in this dire moment that he stumbled upon a small clearing in the forest, where the ethereal beauty of Learnenglishthroughstory's ancient trees provided some shelter from the relentless snowfall. Weak and shivering, he sought refuge in this enchanted sanctuary, unknowingly stepping into Seraphina's realm and forever altering the course of both their lives. The trees parted to reveal a meadow of purest white, and in the center stood the most radiant creature he had ever seen. There stood Seraphina. Her wings were like gossamer, shimmering with 1,000 hues, and her long, flowing hair was the color of moonlight. Her eyes, the shade of sapphire, held a wisdom that seemed to transcend time. Their eyes met, and in that moment, Elric felt a connection that went beyond words. It was a profound and unspoken understanding, a love that bloomed like the first snowdrop in spring. Seraphina, too, felt something she had never known before, a mortal smile that warmed her heart, despite the icy world around her. As their eyes locked in that pivotal moment, a timeless connection unfurled between Elric and Seraphina, a connection that transcended mere words. It was as if the wintry forest itself held its breath, aware of the magic unfolding before its ancient trees. For Elric, gazing into Serafina's sapphire eyes felt like delving into the depths of a hidden world, a world where time held no sway. It was a profound connection, one that stirred his soul and left him momentarily breathless. In that fleeting moment, he sensed a kindred spirit, an unspoken understanding that reached into the very core of his being. It was a connection that ignited a spark of hope and love within him, much like the first snowdrop that bravely heralds the arrival of spring, breaking through the icy grip of winter. Serafina found him, teeth chattering and clothes soaked. Serafina showed compassion and offered him refuge. During Aelric's initial days in the forest, his relationship with Serafina began with a cautious curiosity on both sides. They communicated through gestures and simple expressions, as the barrier between the mortal world and the enchanted realm was still palpable. Elric shared his meager food supplies with Serafina, and she reciprocated with foraged berries and enchanted nectar from the forest. These humble exchanges fostered a sense of trust and camaraderie. Together, they explored the mysteries of Eldrinholt. Elric marveled at the ancient trees and the magical creatures that inhabited the forest. Serafina, in turn, revealed the hidden wonders of her world, from glowing mushrooms to secret glades. Nights were spent huddled by a flickering fire, where they began to share stories of their pasts, hopes, and dreams. Aelric's tales of the mortal world fascinated Serafina, and her enchanting stories of Eldrinholt's history captivated him. Elric relied on Serafina's guidance to navigate the treacherous terrain of the forest, and she trusted him to keep her safe from any mortal dangers that might arise. They witnessed breathtaking phenomena together, like the play of the northern lights above the treetops or the delicate dance of snowflakes on a moonlit night. These moments deepened their connection, as they marveled at the beauty of their shared world. As days turned into weeks, their bond grew stronger. Aelric's presence brought a warmth and companionship to Serafina's life that she had never known. Likewise, Elric found solace and wonder in the enchantment of Eldrinholt. Their friendship deepened, laying the foundation for a love that would eventually thaw the frost around Serafina's heart and kindle a profound and enduring connection between them. For Serafina, the fairy who had known countless ages of solitude and enchantment, Aelric's presence was a revelation. She had felt the warmth of the sun's rays on her wings, but never had she encountered the gentle warmth of a mortal's love. His kindness, his compassion, and the genuine affection in his emerald eyes were like a beacon of light in her icy world. It was a love that thawed the frost that had encased her heart for centuries, a love that dared to bloom in the most unlikely of places. Aelric's love was unlike anything Serafina had ever known. His eyes held a warmth that melted the frost around her heart, and his genuine affection blossomed like a rare, fragile flower in the depths of winter. He had chosen to stay in Eldrinholt not out of obligation, but because he had found in Serafina a love worth staying for. Despite the challenges of the wintry forest, Aelric's love became a comforting hearth, a source of warmth that defied the chill of their surroundings. But the enchantment of Eldrinholt was not without its challenges. As winter's grip tightened, Serafina's magic began to wane. Elric saw the sadness in her eyes and knew he had to act. Serafina's curse had its origins in a tragic and ancient tale within the lore of Eldrinholt. Centuries ago, Eldrinholt was a realm of unparalleled beauty and enchantment, watched over by a council of wise and powerful fairies, of which Serafina had been a member. In those times, there was a looming threat to the forest. A malevolent sorceress named Isolde, who coveted the mystical powers of Eldrinholt for her own dark purposes. Isolde was once a part of Eldrinholt's community but had been consumed by greed and ambition. To protect the forest and its magic, the Council of Fairies decided to banish Isolde from Eldrinholt, casting her out into the mortal world. Enraged by her expulsion, Isolde placed a curse upon Serafina, the fairest and most beloved of the fairies. She invoked powerful magic that bound Serafina to an eternal winter, ensuring that the forest would suffer in her absence. Isolde's curse was both a punishment for the fairies who had banished her and a means to ensure that she could never truly be separated from Eldrinholt. Serafina's curse was a reflection of the sorceress's vengeful nature, and it was designed to bring suffering to the very heart of the enchanted forest. The curse encapsulated Serafina in a perpetual icy prison, her wings frozen, and her heart encased in frost, until the day a mortal would perform an act of profound selflessness and love, breaking the curse and allowing Serafina to regain her freedom. Elric, with his genuine love for Serafina and his willingness to make the ultimate sacrifice, became the key to breaking this ancient curse and bringing warmth and life back to the heart of Eldrenholt. He embarked on a perilous journey to find a way to break the curse that bound Serafina to the wintry forest. Aelric's journey to break Serafina's curse began with an eerie encounter. While wandering deeper into Eldrenholt, he found himself enveloped in an otherworldly silence, broken only by faint whispers carried on the wind. These whispers, he soon realized, were the voices of the ancient trees themselves, communicating in a language of rustling leaves and creaking branches. As Elric continued to explore, he encountered the mystical inhabitants of Eldrenholt, creatures like talking animals and luminous fireflies. Over time, they began to trust him and revealed cryptic clues about an ancient spell that could break Serafina's curse. These clues were riddles and fragments of incantations, guiding him toward his ultimate goal. During his quest, Elric stumbled upon a hidden glade deep within the forest. In this serene and overgrown clearing, he uncovered the ruins of an ancient temple or sanctuary. The crumbling stones contained faint etchings of magical symbols and long-forgotten rituals, hinting at the existence of a powerful spell. Elric sought counsel from the eldest and wisest inhabitants of Eldrenholt, beings who had lived for centuries. These wise elders, often reclusive and rarely seen, shared stories passed down through generations. From them, Elric learned of the spell's origin, an act of selflessness and love by a fairy from the distant past who had sacrificed herself to protect the forest. With all these clues in hand, Elric retreated to a secluded spot in the heart of the forest, surrounded by ancient trees and shimmering fireflies. There, he meditated and delved deep into his research. He pieced together the fragments of spells and incantations, understanding the sacrifices and rituals required to invoke the ancient magic. Finally, after painstaking efforts and deep contemplation, Elric uncovered the full incantation. He knew that casting this spell would require an extraordinary act of selflessness, but he was willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to break Serafina's curse and free her from the eternal winter. With the spell discovered and the weight of his decision heavy on his heart, Elric stood in the very heart of Eldrenholt to cast it, a decision that would change their lives forever and mark the end of their time together in the Enchanted Forest. As he cast the spell, and Eldrenholt's wintry grip began to fade. Serafina's wings regained their luster, and she was free to explore the world beyond the Enchanted Forest. Their love story, like the intricate patterns of frost on a winter's windowpane, was a testament to destiny. It was a tale of two souls drawn together by fate, ready to face the challenges of Serafina's enchantment and the mysteries of Eldrenholt, forging a bond that would be cherished forever. As they parted ways, their love remained a bittersweet memory, a love that transcended mortal and fairy, a love that warmed the coldest of winters, and a love that would forever linger in the hearts of those who heard the tale of Elric and Serafina.
And this concludes our story. But before we end, remember that every story is just a snapshot in time. Life is full of twists and turns, and the journey continues. Thanks for joining us.